Those years in quest of honor mine. Chapter 33. From that day onward, Yushi never visited the third prince's estate again. Nor did he step foot outside the side courtyard of Prince Yu's estate. Zhonwan wasn't sure if he were thinking too much, but in a short while, it seemed many of the spies at Prince Jianan's estate had left. He felt as though something he could not see had suddenly disappeared. Although it was less troublesome, a sense of emptiness filled him. Young Prince Yu's character seemed to have suddenly changed. For many days in a row, he did not leave his estate or cause trouble. He became quiet like he had been in his youth. However, Zhonwan grew more and more uneasy. He had passed on many messages to Linsi, but such messages seemed to have entered a void. Anxious, he had people inform Linsi that he would no longer mention having him return to Jianan, and Linsi appeared the next day looking contrite. "If you don't want to return, then forget it." Looking at Linsi's anxious and frightened expression, Zhonwan was torn between laughter and tears. "Could I even force you to go?" Linsi stared at Zhonwan and earnestly gestured, "If you truly forced me, then I would return. I don't have the time to do that." Zhonwan allowed Linsi to sit. Out of the blue he said, "Are you unwilling to return to Jianan because of Xianzheng?" Linsi almost missed the chair. Zhonwan thought, as expected. That year, Zhonwan and Linsi escaped the side courtyard of Prince Yu's estate together. The moment they had stepped foot outside, they separated. The young Zhonwan couldn't be certain whether Yushi would search for him. The two of them leaving together would make them too large of a target. That they would be easily noticed didn't have to be mentioned. Furthermore, there was no way the two could both leave the capital together. Zhonwan and Linsi agreed to regroup in 3 days in the suburbs. If they still could not meet in 3 days, then they must leave on their own. Zhonwan left the capital without a hitch and waited 3 days. But in the end, he did not see Linsi. His heart burned from anxiety. He feared that Yushi had captured Linsi. Or even worse, someone else did. Zhonwan said in a soft voice, "Back then, I..." But Linsi rushed to say with sign language, "It's not Master's fault. We only agreed to wait for 3 days. I was incompetent and couldn't leave the capital." Light laughter spilled from his lips, but Zhonwan did not continue on that topic. At that time, he had worried for Linsi, waiting in the suburbs for 1 month. Yet if he said this now, there would be no meaning to it. In the end, Zhonwan had left by himself. After staying in Jianan for half a year, he finally received news from Linsi. And he learned that Linsi had accidentally been caught and passed through many people until ultimately landing in the estate of the fourth prince, Xianzheng. All along, Linsi never spoke about how much he had suffered. He only told Zhonwan that fourth prince was actually a good person and did not abuse him. In fact, he treated Linsi very well. Originally, Zhonwan had thought Linsi treated Xianzheng's place as a temporary place to stay. But currently, it seemed like Linsi owed Xianzheng immensely. Looking ill at ease, Linsi stared at Zhonwan. He gestured, "I am worried about him." Linsi seemed as if he really let down Zhonwan. He kept trying to explain, sign language as quick as lightning. It made Zhonwan a little dizzy. He couldn't help but laugh. "I didn't say anything, so why are you in such a flurry? Since we've talked to this point, if you're really sorry, then do me a favor." In a flash, Linsi nodded. Zhonwan said, "In the future, if Xianzheng managed to ascend the throne, can you put in some words for me and help me protect someone?" Linsi signed, "Who?" "Young Prince Yu." After a moment of serious thoughts, Linsi gestured, "Although fourth prince wants to be the crown prince, I don't think he has it in him." It was hard to explain in a few words, but Zhonwan said, "Do you dare to say such blunt truths to Xianzheng?" Linsi smiled and shook his head. "Who knows what the future may bring?" A smile graced Zhonwan's lips. "Just promise me for now, treat it as trying to coax me." Linsi thought for a moment, then nodded in a solemn manner. He schemed for Zhonwan, gesturing, should we directly strip young Prince Yu's rank so that Prince Yu's estate falls? Fourth prince will definitely be fine with that. Then strip him of his status as a civilian, turning him into a slave. Force him to eat soft bone medicine, then send him and his self-selling contract to master. Stop, stop. Zhonwan's head ached. How much do you and Xianjing hate him? Lindsay gestured, I'm still okay. Fourth prince curses young Prince Yu to death every day. If he truly ascended the throne one day, we'd have to expend much effort to have him agree to spare young Prince Yu. Master knows that young Prince Yu might be the emperor's bastard son. If this truly were the case. That's why I'm saying you have to help me protect him. Since you've already promised me, if that day truly arrives, you must not let Xianjing kill him. A moment of thought, and unable to bear it anymore, he said, there's no need to make him a slave. Don't use the soft bone medicine. Just send him to me. Lindsay wanted to smile but dared not to. I sought you today because I have proper business to speak with you. I had placed a spy near Xianqiang and that person said. Zhonwan's heart raced, and he flew into a tangent, saying, after Xianjing ascends the throne, Yushi wouldn't commit suicide, would he? That year, he had so many estate soldiers guarding me. Now, I don't have anyone lending me a hand to keep watch on him, so why don't you help me feed him some sleeping drugs? Lindsay tried his best not to smile. Zhonwan did not realize at all that he had mentioned Yushi again. His life truly is terrible, don't you think? His only way out is to come to me. Life is so unpredictable. Lindsay used sign language to say, maybe young Prince Yu would jump at the opportunity. A smile graced Zhonwan's lips. Jump at what opportunity? To be kept in a golden house by me. Lindsay recalled when Yushi had captured him, the latter almost used torture instruments on him. His felt goosebumps on his back. To store this catastrophe-inducing person in a golden house would be difficult. Stop mentioning him all the time to me. Zhonwan shook his head. Now let's get to the proper business. Lindsay cupped an ear, as if trying to hear attentively. Zhonwan suppressed these fantasies. The spy I had placed by Xianqiang's side said that a few days ago, Prince Yu and Imperial Consort Yu had a private discussion. Ever since then, Imperial Consort Yu had calmed down a bit. She no longer made a fuss about wanting an explanation. A few days ago, for some reason Yushi removed the wheels from Xianqiang's carriage. Xianqiang was so angry, he wanted to hit him but was stopped by Imperial Consort Yu. She even lectured him angrily. Zhonwan furrowed his brows. I remember that Her Highness Imperial Consort Yu has always liked to cause trouble in the past. Why did she calm down so much after having a private discussion with Prince Yu? Lindsay thought for a while and signed, that I'm not sure. However, I had asked around recently, and heard a few other things. And they all had something to do with young Prince Yu. Zhonwan also did not speak further. He approached the desk and picked up paper and a brush. Lindsay gestured, it's not because I was hiding from Master that I did not come here recently. I was actually investigating something for Fourth Prince. Master, do you remember that Fifth Prince had found 2 hard labor servants that used to work in the royal mausoleum's villa? Zhonwan nodded. It wasn't just this. Xianqiang had even found Princess Royal Angwo's pregnancy pulse report. Lindsay continued to gesture. Fifth Prince followed this clue in his investigation and found another clue. The secret woman who gave birth and disappeared had perhaps long since been delivered to the royal mausoleum. At the very least, earlier than Royal Princess Angwo's arrival. Zhonwan frowned. Then this woman must have been sent there before the previous emperor's funeral? Yes, I signed. What's strange was that at the start, this woman protected her baby carefully and hid in the royal mausoleum without any issue. However, after Royal Princess Angwo had arrived, and the two met, she went mad out of nowhere. Even at risk of death, She wanted to abort the baby. Zhonwan's heart tightened. That baby should be Yushi. He wrote, why? Lin Si shook his head, gesturing, I don't know. I only know that for the sake of aborting the baby, that woman once ate a bowl of ashes from the incense burner. There's a rumor among the civilians that eating the ashes of an incense burner would induce abortion, but this was only a rumor. After someone realized she did this, they forced her to eat medicine that would get her to vomit the ashes. She suffered a lot, but the baby was saved. Aghast, Zhonwan wrote, how did the royal princess treat her after she had abused herself like this? For a while, Lin Si did not respond. Then he said with sign language, at first, royal princess had someone watch over her all day and night. But if one wanted to commit suicide, one would find a way to do it even under watch. Taking advantage of the time when the guards weren't paying attention to her, the woman grabbed anything and struck her lower abdomen with it. Once, she almost killed the baby. Royal princess lost her patience and summoned an imperial physician. Lin Si took a deep breath and signed, to cripple her legs. Zhonwan's entire body chilled. He strived his best to endure and wrote, then what happened? Lin Si gestured, I'm not sure how they crippled her legs. Since she was pregnant, they could not just break her legs. Perhaps they used acupuncture. In short, she could not stand anymore or walk. After that, that woman lost her mind completely. She didn't eat or drink. Those attending to her had to tie her up. Her arms and fingers had all been restrained tightly, like she was a decoration. Zhonwan said with a trembling voice, then what? They kept her restrained like that, until she gave birth, gestured Lin Si. As she was in labor, they naturally had to remove her restraints. Word has it that after she gave birth, when everyone present did not notice, she almost killed the baby by throwing it to the ground. Zhonwan closed his eyes. A long while later, he wrote, does Yushi know about these matters? Lin Si could not bear to look at Zhonwan, but he did so anyway. He gestured, I think young Prince Yu knows all of this. A sharp pain pierced Zhonwan's heart. Yushi knew everything. The moment young Yushi learned that the mother who raised him had abused his birth mother, how did he get past it? Lin Si could not stay for long. Could not wait for Zhonwan to slowly digest what he had learned. He signed, there's something else that's very strange. Zhonwan gasped. Speak. Lin Si gestured, at first, before that woman's legs were crippled, Royal Princess Angwo had spoken to her. Princess Royal Angwo said, previously, no one forced you at all, and you were the one who wanted to keep the baby. So why are you regretting it after seeing me? Zhonwan tried his best not to think about Yushi. The words stayed in his mouth for a while, before he finally wrote, she had been very happy to get this child and even took the initiative to hide in the royal mausoleum to wait for labor without worry. Never had she imagined that Royal Princess Angwo would appear and would take away her child. Zhonwan's heart trembled. At that time, Royal Princess Angwo had already lost her own child. If not, then at that time her lower abdomen should already be very conspicuous. That woman had seen Princess Royal Angwo with a flat abdomen and foresaw that her baby would be taken away by her after birth, understanding that she would be killed. Only then did she realize that she had entered a trap. For this reason, she went mad, wanting to kill her child even at risk of her own life. Perhaps it was self-defense, perhaps it was retaliation. Zhonwan said in a low voice, for the sake of making this child hers, Royal Princess Angwo avoided everyone and lived in the royal mausoleum for a long time. Was she able to deceive Prince Yu? Lin Si said with sign language, this is the second point I wanted to inform Master. When Fifth Prince was investigating this clue, he accidentally discovered that it was the trace clue young Prince Yu had followed years ago. Zhonwan's pupils dilated. Lin Si signed, I also discovered it. I followed the trail left behind by young Prince Yu and continued to investigate. And many things became much simpler. I also discovered something else. But I have yet to report it to the fourth prince. After young Prince Yu learned that he wasn't royal Princess Angwo's son, he grew depressed for a long time. He worried that Prince Yu had been completely in the dark since the start. Worried that throughout all these years, Prince Yu loved the wrong son. And he worried that those people swindled Prince Yu of his family's title. So, he schemed to place this information into the hands of Prince Yu's trusted aide. Zhonwan gritted his teeth. Is he stupid? If Prince Yu didn't know, then wouldn't telling him mean giving up his own life? Lin Si gripped his own fingers, before signing. After the trusted aide found out, it were as if he had been struck by lightning. He asked Prince Yu for an audience that very night. Zhonwan said with a trembling voice, then what did Prince Yu say? Lin Si signed. The trusted aide had been immensely anxious, analyzing the pros and cons for Prince Yu. But His Highness indifferently said. A gloom settled in Lin Si's gaze as he signed. Prince Yu said, don't worry. It's impossible for Yushi to inherit my position. And it's even more impossible for him to become the crown prince. Zhonwan tasted blood in his mouth. Prince Yu had been well aware of the truth, and in fact already arranged a good place to keep him. Those people absolutely would not allow Yushi to survive until he could inherit Prince Yu's position. And the young Yushi at that time actually worried that his father was being deceived by others. Had Yushi been eavesdropping at the door when Prince Yu and his trusted aide had that conversation? The 15-years-old Yushi was modest, gentle, pure, and graceful. After Yushi heard his expressionless father, whom he was worried about, reassuring his trusted aide and determining Yushi's death with a few simple words, what did he think? Father wasn't mine, mother wasn't mine. Zhonwan closed his eyes. His heart hurt so much, he could not utter a word. Lin Si approached him half a step. Standing by Zhonwan's side, he wrote, Master, young Prince Yu's parents are unreliable. Do you still want to stay? Yes. Zhonwan staggered a bit as he rose to his feet. You can leave. I have to visit the side courtyard of the Prince Yu's estate. End chapter. Those years in quest of honor mine. Chapter 34. Zhonwan didn't have Lin Si's abilities to travel across rooftops or walk along walls. He could only have someone prepare the carriage for him. It was already very late. Leaving the estate now would be breaking curfew. They would definitely get stopped and searched, but Zhonwan didn't have the energy to care about this. He grabbed Xian Yu's authorization, put on a cloak and got in the carriage. On the way to the side courtyard of Prince Yu's estate, Zhonwan leaned against the carriage window. His heart felt like it was getting stabbed repeatedly. Zhonwan still remembered the half a year he had stayed in Yushi's estate back then. Every few days, there would be rewards bestowed from the palace. There were larger ones, like a precious horse presented as an offering from the western regions, and smaller ones, like the accessories Yushi used daily. Emperor Chang'an was always thinking of him. The emperor treated him so well that even the servants in the side courtyard couldn't help gossiping, secretly making guesses about Yushi's identity. When young Zhonwan heard them, he only pretended he hadn't heard anything. Unexpectedly, he looked up and saw Yushi, who had walked out to look for him. The two of them were separated by a screen. They smiled at each other in exasperation while listening to these servants quietly gossiping. Young Yushi was extremely gentle, he rarely punished the servants. Young Zhonwan felt awkward. After the servants left, he purposefully acted unbothered and asked, You must often hear people talk about that, right? Yushi softly nodded. Young Zhonwan's attempt at comforting sounded forced. The emperor only has one younger sister, and that's the royal princess. He also only has you as his nephew. Obviously, he would be kind to you. Besides, you're going to be a prince with great influence in the future. The emperor will need to rely on you. There's no need to console me, Yushi calmly interrupted Zhongyuan. They're all baseless rumors. I understand. Young Zhongyuan asked in a daze, how did you come to understand? Yushi burst into laughter. My father and mother adore me so much, how could I not be their biological child? I am capable of telling the difference between true love and faked affection. If I suspected my identity, would I still be worthy of being their son? Zhongyuan remembered very clearly, the Yushi back then had been unwaveringly confident in his own identity. Regardless of others' guesses, regardless of how strange Emperor Chang'an's adoration for him was, Yushi never suspected his own parents. So why was it that shortly after his departure, Yushi suddenly decided to investigate his own background? According to Yushi's morals back then, forget investigating, even being suspicious in the slightest would be considered extremely unfilial. So, what had actually happened back then? Who had lured him into checking things out? Besides, at the time, Yushi had been 16 at most. How capable could he have been? Xianjing and Xianqian had been fearful of Yushi for many years. After so much inquiry, it had still taken them several years following their departure from the palace and establishment of their own estates, whereafter they could start fostering their own manpower, to get a few results. And this had only happened recently. Back then, how capable could a young Yushi have been to smoothly find the answers he wanted to find? Who was helping him? Or rather, who was ruining him? A young Yushi had been lured in by someone with ill intentions. Step by step, from Yushi's biological mother, to Royal Princess Angguo, to Prince Yu, and perhaps even to Emperor Chang'an. This person was secretly guiding Yushi, pushing him to slowly acknowledge that those family members he valued so greatly had never actually treated him sincerely. Such a kind Yushi had been gradually ruined into this state. Later on, had Yushi's repeated attempts at seeking death been because of this overwhelming knowledge? Or had they been because he wanted to satisfy these people's desires? Zhongyuan suddenly thought of how he had asked Yushi like a heartless idiot after first entering the capital, what hasn't been going smoothly in your life? What hadn't been going smoothly? Zhongyuan lifted a hand and slapped himself across the face. Had anything gone smoothly? What had Yushi thought when he had heard this question? He hadn't been depressed, nor had he been outraged. He had only chuckled, seemingly unbothered. He had probably long since gotten used to hearing similar things in these past few years. Zhongyuan knocked his head into the window of the carriage. He clenched his teeth and thought back on what he had been doing while Yushi had been suffering. He had been slowly but surely traveling day and night towards Nanjiang, terrified that those children would suffer even the slightest. Yushi hadn't even crossed his mind. The horse carriage swayed back and forth. An hour later, they finally reached the side courtyard of Prince Yu's estate. Zhongyuan drew back the curtains and gazed at the front door of the side courtyard, lost in his thoughts. The cold evening breeze chilled Zhongyuan to the bones. It slightly calmed down his mind that was overwhelmed. If he were to tell Yushi now that he already knew about the events of the past, it would probably completely enrage Yushi. Putting himself in the other's shoes, Zhongyuan would hope that Yushi would stay as far away from him as possible. It would be best if the other never found out about his background at all. Yushi's pride was etched into his bones. He didn't want others' pity even if it was out of kindness. If he were to make things clear now, disregarding how he should explain to the other how he had found out, Zhongyuan wasn't even sure if Yushi wouldn't stab him with a sword out of resentment or not. Zhongyuan didn't fear death, but now wasn't the time. Zhongyuan shivered because of the cold wind. By this time, he had completely calmed down. He should pretend that he didn't know anything, that nothing had happened. Before Yushi noticed, he should return to his estate. If they met again in the future, he also needed to keep the secret hidden. First, he needed to come up with a plan to stay in the capital. Everything else could be taken care of slowly afterwards. Currently, Yushi was definitely sensitive and suspicious. Everything needed to be approached gradually. Their relationship now was on thin ice. With the slightest mishap, it would be difficult to even see the other in the future. One mishap and the entire board of chess would be lost. Zhongyuan couldn't make this gamble. Zhongyuan's coachman noticed that he hadn't moved in a long time. In confusion, he asked, "Young Master Zhong, should I go knock on the door for you? Or let's," Zhongyuan found his own tongue again with difficulty. "Let's return to our estate." The coachman was speechless. It was the middle of the night. They had finally managed, with great difficulty, to reach their destination. Now they were just going to return? Zhongyuan nodded. "Be back to the estate." The coachman could only nod. As soon as he lifted his whip, he felt the weight in the carriage suddenly get heavier, then immediately become lighter. Zhongyuan had already jumped out. In a daze, Zhongyuan muttered, "Fuck, taking things slowly." He couldn't wait anymore. In the main bedroom of the side estate, Yushi had yet to sleep. Yushi was in the middle of playing chess with himself. Steward Feng stood guard off to the side, head lowered and dozing off. A few days ago, Yushi had suddenly seemed to lose interest in Zhongyuan. He had ordered the removal of all his spies in Prince Jian'an's estate, then he had told Steward Feng to give Zhongyuan his self-selling contract. He had acted like he wanted to make a clean cut, neither of them would owe each other anything afterwards. Though the self-selling contract had been sent over, it had also been returned. But this didn't really interest Yushi either. He only said that he understood, then never brought up Zhongyuan again. When things become out of the ordinary, there must be something wrong. Yushi was behaving himself so much it was frightening. This made Steward Feng even more worried. When he had been ordered by Yushi to give Zhongyuan the self-selling contract, Steward Feng had even been concerned about whether or not Yushi was planning on committing suicide. Was he making arrangements for after his death? Consequently, these days, Steward Feng had transferred double the amount of staff from the estate. They watched over Yushi day and night. But Yushi hadn't done anything too out of line. In the past few days, he had eaten his meals on time, slept on time, and even stopped wandering around the estate without a lantern when he couldn't fall asleep. Most of the time, he did what he was doing now, playing Go with himself. Only one little thing was an exemption. The tiny bag of tea leaves Steward Feng had brought back for Yushi had disappeared. Steward Feng clearly remembered that Yushi had placed the bag into his inner breast pocket. But the next day, when he was helping Yushi change, he didn't see it. Steward Feng assumed that Yushi had accidentally dropped it onto the floor when he was changing, so he took extra care to look around for it. However, he hadn't found it there either. Steward Feng thought to himself, Yushi couldn't have thrown it into the brazier, right? That would be a great pity. That small quantity of tea leaves had been slowly picked out by Zhongyuan personally. He had washed his hands, pulled up a light, and dug around in the tea leaf box. Though it was few, they were all the freshest and best leaf tips. Steward Feng got sleepier the more his mind ran free. He rubbed his eyes and scooted forward to gently suggest to Yushi, "It's Sangeng already. Shouldn't Yushi rest?" Yushi pinched a white Go stone. After a moment of hesitation, he set it down and nodded. "I'll sleep." Yushi separated out his black and white Go stones from each other. Steward Feng stepped forward to help him remove his clothes. Suddenly, someone announced from outside that a guest had arrived. Nonsense, Steward Feng was immensely confused. It's the middle of the night, who would come? Did Royal Princess send someone over to say something? Or did someone come from the palace? The servant outside the warm room responded, "Young Master Zhong from Prince Jian'an's estate is here." Yushi's hand trembled. A white Go stone fell onto the ground. Zhongyuan sat in the main hall. He thought to himself, I must be crazy. Since he was scared of setting off Yushi, he temporarily couldn't explain things clearly. Then what should he say upon seeing Yushi later? Zhonwan felt his apprehension grew. He silently prayed to himself that Yushi was already asleep. This way, he could sit here all night. Tomorrow. He would think about tomorrow when tomorrow came. Zhonwan gently rubbed his cold and dry hands together. His mind drifted off, hoping that Yushi was already asleep and that Steward Feng would be the one receiving him in a bit. Footsteps sounded from behind the screen. Zhonwan lifted his head. Yushi walked out. Yushi obviously was already preparing for bed. His complicated outer garment had been removed. Inside, he only had on a thin, moon-white shirt. A large, black robe was draped over this. Yushi slightly furrowed his brows. Did something happen at your estate? Zhonwan froze. He shook his head. No. Nothing. Yushi looked at Zhonwan, disbelieving. As if he thought the other found it difficult to speak directly, he turned around and ordered his servants, "Leave, all of you." The servants filed out. Only Steward Feng remained. Yushi sat down and impatiently asked, "Then what's worth you coming to my place in the middle of the night?" Zhonwan lifted his gaze to look at Yushi. He couldn't help falling into a daze. If all these chaotic incidents hadn't occurred, the Yushi now would still be as he had been in youth, right? A warm jade, as warm as home. Zhonwan didn't think that there was anything wrong with the current Yushi. That Yusuiyu who was polished as jade was fine. The rebellious and disagreeable Yushi of today was fine as well. Only, every time he thought of how the young Yushi had been slowly tortured into the state, Zhonwan's heart couldn't help but felt hurt. Yushi was terribly upset. What is actually the matter? Are you going to tell me or not? Zhonwan took a deep breath. He forced down the hurt in his heart and said, I had a nightmare. Yushi. Yushi reflexively rubbed his ears. He glanced at Steward Feng and asked, bewildered, what did you just say? Zhonwan coughed and repeated, I had a nightmare and woke up in fright. Steward Feng finally realized that he shouldn't be present for this. With an almost uncontrollable smile, he carefully said, this old servant will leave first. Steward Feng quickly disappeared. Only the two people remained in the room. Yushi was frozen in place. As if facing a great enemy, he thought, had Zhonwan been acting cute with him just now? Had he accidentally eaten Han-shi-san? Had Zhonwan gone mad, too? Yushi's throat felt dry. Zhonwan's Adam's apple bobbed up and down. He said, when I had nightmares in the past, didn't you comfort me? For a long time, Yushi was silent. Yushi pointed at his fierce-looking self and expressionlessly spoke, first of all, we won't speak of whether or not I would comfort you. If I comforted you now, would you be able to fall asleep? Naturally not. Zhonwan furrowed his brows and inhaled sharply. He also knew that this was a horrible excuse, but what else could he say now? He forced himself to get out. 2 days ago, I spent a bit too much time in the wind. I might be a bit muddle-headed. Can I stay here with you? Yushi looked Zhonwan up and down in disbelief. Did you catch a cold or develop some type of psychosis? If you're ill, you need to see the imperial doctor. What use is there in seeking me out? Zhonwan had no answer. He kept his head lowered and remained silent. Only half of Zhonwan's face was in the light. This made him look incredibly gaunt. Yushi stared at him for a while. As if unable to bear it anymore, he stood up and said, I don't have time to waste on you. If you have nothing to say, leave immediately. Zhonwan lifted his gaze. In a low voice, he said, Suiyu. Yushi stopped in his tracks. A pause later, Yushi quickly stood up. He took a few steps until he was in front of Zhonwan, then pressed both hands onto the arms of Zhonwan's chair. He clenched his teeth together and forced out, pauses after each word, what do you Actually. Want. Zhonwan's heart shook with fear because of Yushi. He calmed himself down and did his best to ignore the enormous pressure emanating from the other. Honestly, he answered, I didn't have a nightmare. I just wanted to see you. Yushi scoffed. Do you think I'll believe that? Zhonwan wanted to tug Yushi's hand, but was scared that being so frivolous would result in Yushi's disgust. I'm telling the truth. Yushi looked down at Zhonwan. A moment later, he said, Zhonwan, it's the middle of the night. We're alone in this room, just you and me. You know what's going to happen, right? Zhonwan's ears turned a faint red. He cleared his throat. I believe so, yes. Yushi scoffed. I understand. Zhonwan's heart dropped. What did Yushi understand? Yushi gazed coldly at Zhonwan. Speak. What happened in your estate? To be worth you selling yourself to me, is it Qian Rui? Did something happen to him along the way? Zhonwan clenched his teeth. This wasn't Yushi's fault. It was he who had no more credibility and could no longer be trusted. Yushi sneered. Or is it Qian Yu? You want me to ensure his safety in the capital? Yushi noticed that Zhonwan wasn't answering. He said, or is it Qian Kengzin? What? Here to beg me to help her find a good family to marry into. Zhonwan took a deep breath. He was determined. Yushi lost his patience. Zhonwan, hasn't anyone ever taught you to make your requests clear before? Whatever is it that you want, state them word by word, phrase by phrase. Make them clearly right now. Zhonwan lifted his gaze to look at Yushi. His voice was very soft. I do have one thing to request of you. Yushi lowered his head. A few strands of hair fell in front of his forehead, blocking his expression from being seen. Yushi laughed at himself. As expected. Yushi coldly said, only one. Zhonwan nodded. Yushi suddenly raised his head. Speak. Zhonwan swallowed. Very quietly, he said, you have to be gentle. End chapter. Those years in quest of honor mine. Chapter 35. The moment Zhonwan had stopped talking, Yushi's eyes grew bloodshot. Coupled with his long hair that lay in disarray, at first glance he truly seemed to be under the influence of evil spirits. Zhonwan's words ripped off the Buddhist decree containing the malicious spirit in Yushi's heart that could destroy the heavens and earth. A roar, and it could pounce out. With firm restraint, Yushi said in a hoarse voice, I can do anything. Zhonwan's earlobes flushed red, his heart pounding like crazy. Yes, he said near whisper. And Yushi clenched his jaws so tightly that creaks could be heard. Zhonwan thought, it's over, it's over. I probably said something wrong again. That look of his said that I'm afraid he can't be gentle. This appearance of Yushi was indeed frightening. Scared witless, Zhonwan thought, if in a while, Yushi might fuck me to death. Once my soul reaches hell and I reunites with my parents who died young, and meets with Prince Ning and Princess Consort Ning, how should I explain this? If I see Imperial Preceptor Shi, then what path ought I take? Scared but not wanting to leave, Zhonwan stuttered softly, this is my first time. At his last straw, Yushi roared, shut up. Not a word escaped Zhonwan's lips afterwards. Without him realizing it, Yushi's arms shook. The wide robe draped over his upper body slipped down his shoulders. Zhonwan hesitated, before reaching out in a probing manner, fixing the robe. If he weren't afraid of overstepping, of provoking Yushi, Zhonwan definitely would have thrown his arms around him in an embrace. Yushi raised his head and stared at Zhonwan. In a daze, he lifted his hand to pinch Zhonwan's arm once. Zhonwan gasped in pain. And Yushi calmed down. He's alive. After confirming this, he leaned toward Zhonwan as if he was an exhausted beast and his breathing returned to normal bit by bit. A while later, his expression recovered. He rose to his feet, fixed his collar and in passing, combed his messy long hair with his fingers. Yushi retreated 2 steps, his countenance pale. Ears blooming red, Zhonwan said, "I know you don't believe me, but I really don't have anything to request of you. Today I seriously. I know." The previous ridicule in Yushi's eyes vanished, a complicated gaze replacing it as he looked at Zhonwan. Near whisper, he said, "For this reason, even more so I cannot." Zhonwan was at a loss. Even more so could not what? Not waiting for him to speak again, Yushi turned around. "Follow me." Yushi picked up a candlestick, leading Zhonwan all the way to the inner courtyard. They entered Yushi's bedroom. Zhonwan looked at Yushi from behind the ladder, throat tightening slightly. This was the first time after their reunion that he saw Yushi wearing just a few clothes. Compared to his younger self, Yushi had grown much taller, shoulders stretching wide, lower back all the more long and straighter. At present, he only had a thin outer garment on. It couldn't have made Zhonwan's mind wander more than it had. Yushi set the candlestick down. As if extremely determined, he said, "I don't want to guess why you suddenly came over today, nor would I question you closely about it. Since you. Yushi's back faced Zhonwan. After a moment, he said, "Since you want to stay here, I will allow you to stay in my room for 1 night. However, any more than this, don't even think about it." Zhonwan remained silent. At this moment, was he supposed to thank him for the generous grace? He felt as if he had been splashed with an invisible bucket of water all over his body, the mood prior was completely washed away. Cautiously, Zhonwan asked, "Then if during the night, something happened, whose fault would it be?" Fire burst from Yushi's eyes. He painstakingly endured his anger as he said, "If I don't want it, then nothing will happen." Zhonwan was at a loss for words, the bit of attraction in his chest thoroughly dispersing. Not wanting to provoke Yushi's unhappiness, he forced a smile. "Then I'll sleep in the outer chamber." "No need." Yushi glanced at Zhonwan, wanting to say something but hesitating. In the end, he said, "Since you came over so late, I'll fulfill your wishes halfway." Zhonwan, who had his wishes fulfilled halfway, lay down on the bed in a complicated mood. He thought that coming here today had been utterly stupid. It would be great if Yushi truly had a bit of affection for him, but if everything had just been Zhonwan showering affection on an uninterested party, then in the future, one would fear Yushi would get around him and leave. Zhonwan imagined pulling Yushi out of the muddy pond, imagined giving him advice, imagined becoming Yushi's trusted aide. However, in all of the realm's history, who would want to sleep with their own trusted aide? As Zhonwan told himself not to imagine his feelings were reciprocated, he could not help but ask in a straightforward manner, "Yushizi, do you prefer women?" Lying on the outer side of the bed with his body stretched taut, Yushi froze. He furrowed his brows and answered, "No." Zhonwan grunted his acknowledgement and hesitated before saying, "Then do you want children?" This question drove Yushi annoyed the most. "No." Zhonwan's throat tightened. He took his time saying, "So what do you know what happens when?" In the darkness, Yushi did not respond. Zhonwan was not afraid of being shameless. He said in a soft voice, "Even if we did something, I can't get pregnant. So don't worry." He was very familiar with the side courtyard. Lying here, he could not help but for a moment think that they had returned to 7 years prior. As such, he relaxed immensely, daring to speak more. "Yushi, you don't have any concubines yet, are you?" "Zhonwan," said Yushi in a cold manner all of a sudden. "Men who are over 15 and claim that they don't know those things works are only pretending. You should understand this more than I do, right?" These words embarrassed Zhongwan. Yushi closed his eyes as he felt drowsy. A moment later, he opened them again. Agitatedly, he said, "It's not that I don't know how to do it that I didn't do you today. I just don't want to." Zhongwan courted a rebuff, whispering, Incredulous, Yushi said, "Just what are you people thinking every day? I merely go mad every now and then. Even if I'm utterly mad, who would say that a madman can't do these things?" Zhongwan's face flushed. He stammered, I was just afraid that you didn't know how." He could not help but say to Yushi, "I'm telling you that men truly can't get pregnant." At the end of his patience, Yushi sat up. Zhongwan's heart tensed up. Under the moonlight, Yushi looked at Zhongwan. In a low voice, he said, "Zhongwan, I don't want to leave behind descendants. But if you can get pregnant, then I would actually want to keep it." Yushi bent his body down a bit, thinking aloud, "But how can I get you pregnant?" Zhongwan's lower body melted on its own. "Perhaps it's possible," Yushi's voice proved light to the extreme. "If I gather all the Buddhist monks and Daoist priests from inside and outside the capital at the imperial ancestral shrine." Zhongwan fell into a daze. He would call that many Buddhist monks and Daoist priests to do what? To have them kneel and recite sutras on full time for 49 days will be a great service for them, said Yushi, tone tranquil. To pray the heavens would appear and let you carry a child for me. The more Yushi spoke, the more emotional he grew. He muttered, "It's hard to say whether such an unprecedented prayer in history could truly move the heavens." Zhongwan imagined the great spectacle and choked from fear. Don't joke around like this. I have never joked with people before." Yushi frowned. "If I say it, then I will definitely do it." Complaining in his heart, Zhongwan finally gave in. "I shouldn't have said those things. Please don't be impulsive." Yushi shot a glance at Zhongwan and said with indifference, "Then don't ask me such stupid things again. If I say I don't want to leave behind descendants, then I don't want to leave behind descendants." Since Zhongwan's provoking of Yushi had been fruitless, he grunted his acknowledgement in a well-behaved manner. Yushi lay back down. "Go to sleep. Stop thinking about those perverted things all the time. Also." Frightened, Zhongwan froze, before saying even more well-behavedly, "Also what?" "Tonight, don't touch me," said Yushi with a muffled voice, back facing him. With no other alternative, Zhongwan sounded his agreement. The next day, after Zhongwan had left, Steward Feng sensed that Yushi's current expression was somewhat different from before. Just how different, Steward Feng was unable to clearly say. However, he found that Yushi was not as spiritless as he was a few days prior. Ever since Zhongwan had left, he seemed even more distracted, standing before the desk for 2 hours. "Yushi-zi," as Steward Feng changed the refreshments on the table, he hinted with joy, "this time, we won't let young Master Zhong leave, right?" Yushi lifted his head, hesitation in his eyes. The expression in Steward Feng's face changed as he said, "Yushi-zi. Since it's like this, you cannot let that person go. Although you're both men, you still have to take responsibility, right? You." Lowering his head, Yushi picked up a writing brush as he said, "I haven't touched him." Steward Feng felt resentful towards Yushi for failing to meet expectations as he was getting impatient to see improvements. "How many years has it been?" asked Yushi all of a sudden, his head still lowered, "since Prince Ning met a mishap?" After a moment of thought, Steward Feng counted his fingers. 7 to 8 years. "Next year, it will be 8 years. Yushi nodded. It'll be 8 years, yet he still feels gratitude toward Prince Ning's rearing and grace. He raised his head. Looked at Steward Feng. "If I die tomorrow, how many years will he endure?" Distressed, Steward Feng asked, "Why is your honored self talking about this again? Can't you not say you will die?" This time, Yushi did not sneer like he would have in the past. With his head lowered again, he stared at the brush in his hand, hesitating for a while before thinking aloud, yes, if I don't die, then I could. Yushi recalled the events last night. Unable to stand the disruption in his thoughts, he set down the brush, sat down on the chair and frowned, relaxing with his eyes closed. Steward Feng could discern that his heart was in a mess, but he didn't dare to speak too much again. Still, he felt that Yushi's suicidal tendencies had weakened by many degrees. As Steward Feng retreated, before he could take 2 steps, he heard Yushi smashing things inside the room. He stopped in his tracks. It seemed Yushi was cursing something. The corners of Steward Feng's lips tilted upward. He attempted to stifle the smile. Steward Yan's letter read that once eldest brother left the city walls, his spirit improved by a lot. Afterward, he ate no more than 2 servings of medicine before recovering immensely. Xian Kengzin placed the letter on the desk. Don't worry. Absent-minded, Zhonwan had agreed without thinking. Xian Kengzin said, tomorrow will be the 3rd 7-day set. Everyone must attend. I don't understand the customs of the capital, so I asked other people about it. They said that for the 3rd 7-day set, the wake must last for 1 day and 1 night. If you're unwell, don't go. Snapping out of his thoughts, Zhonwan smiled. How is that possible? If I don't attend, who would accompany Xian Yu? Xian Kengzin furrowed her brows. How many days has it been? I've already recognized all the women of notes in the capital. Can't he kneel on his own? You've recognized that many women? Asked Zhonwan, astounded. That's not all. I even recognize all the imperial concubines, she said, not caring the slightest. There's nothing else to do every day besides memorizing this. Zhonwan swept his gaze up and down Xian Kengzin and said with regret, it's such a waste of talent to have you stay in Jian. A smile graced her lips. If you want to follow, then follow. Pay attention to yourself. If something happens, don't force yourself to do anything in spite of adversity. Zhonwan smiled. Understood, young miss. Like Xian Kengzin had said, on the 3rd 7-day set, there were more than double the amount of people in Xianjin's estate than in the past. Inside and outside were the imperial clan members. Contrary to what one might expect, Lin Si and Xianjing arrived. Lin Si had a young male servant pass along a paper ball to Zhonwan. He opened it. He glanced at the contents. Lin Si had asked him to avoid Xianjing. Zhonwan frowned. Why did he want him to avoid Xianjing so badly? Ever since Zhonwan had arrived at the capital, he did not have an encounter with Xianjing, though he did see him. Zhonwan himself did not feel ashamed meeting his old friend with his current status. So, why should he avoid him? Although he thought this, Zhonwan nevertheless hid the paper ball in his chest pocket. He looked at Xianjing from afar, turned his body sideways to evade him. He moved around another servant, hiding behind him. With unease in his heart, Zhonwan would glance at Xianjing from time to time. He thought, Xianjing shouldn't know anything, right? That day, when Lin Si had arrived at Prince Jianan's estate in search of Zhonwan, Zhonwan had already instructed Lin Si not to inform Xianjing about Yushi's matters. Zhonwan still hadn't figured out an escape plan for Yushi. Before that point, the fewer people knew about Yushi's background, the better. Zhonwan tried his best to mix with the crowd. However, Xianjing seemed to be deliberately searching for him. Every now and then, he would glance at the crowd of servants. Zhonwan had no other choice. He mixed in with the crowd of people taking care of the event, slipping into the inner courtyard. He deliberately fell behind a few steps, increasing the distance between him and the other people. Fortunately, everyone was in a hurry and did not have the time or energy to care about him. After Zhonwan had been able to get away, he headed for the outside, only for someone to pull him behind an artificial mountain as he was passing by. Zhonwan didn't know whether to sigh in relief or feel more nervous. It was Yushi. Yushi leaned against the side of the artificial mountain. After pulling Zhonwan over, he released his hold. He stared at Zhonwan with a complicated gaze. As he recalled the baffling act of sharing a bed last night, Zhonwan still felt a bit embarrassed. Yushi narrowed his eyes, seemingly at a loss. A short while later, he asked, "Why are you hiding?" He naturally could not tell Yushi about Lindsay's matters. Zhonwan hesitated, trying to find an excuse and muddle through. Yushi furrowed his brows. "Just now, you kept stealing glances at me." "Why?" Zhonwan was rendered speechless. He had been looking at Xianjing. Unfortunately, Xianjing stood next to Yushi. Bracing himself, Zhonwan said, "It's nothing. It's nothing." "The look in your eyes as you stared at me was..." Yushi paused, before continuing on in a vexed manner, "There are so many people around. Control yourself." Again, Zhonwan was struck speechless. In this moment, if he said he had been glancing at Xianjing, one would fear that Yushi would grow even more enraged. After hesitating for a moment, Yushi said, "I'm not saying that you can't look at me, but when there's a lot of people around, you have to control it. Your expression is too obvious. Who wouldn't be able to see the hints?" For the third time, Zhonwan couldn't utter a word. Yushi continued, "Were you searching for me for a long time?" Zhonwan was at a loss for words. Never had he expected that Yushi would come to such an insignificant thing as a third 7-day set. What needs to be said has already been said. You ought to restrain yourself. Yushi turned around and left. The corners of Zhonwan's lips raised on their own accord, as he found it difficult to suppress. He could not help but lift his head and watch his back figure, only to see Yushi flip around all of a sudden and return. This time, his expression was even more different. For no reason, Zhonwan felt slightly nervous. "I won't come every day. So, don't look for me every day like this." A frown slid its way across Yushi's mouth, as if he had strengthened his resolve. "Enough. From now on, every 10 days, you can stay overnight at my estate for 1 night. However, that's the limit. Don't hope for any more." End chapter.